So the Rose coach in Unrivaled finally decided to play Lexie Hull. Lexie Hull actually saw the floor. And what happened when Lexie Hull played more than like 4 minutes? Oh, the Rose win, first of all. They win.
Imagine being Lexie Hull. You've barely set foot on the court, just 8 minutes across 2 games. Your team is winless, struggling to find its rhythm. From the sideline, you watch Angel Red shine, dominating with double-doubles, but leaving little space for others to step up. Then, out of nowhere, your moment comes. In one unforgettable game, you seize the opportunity, dropping 19 points, taking charge, and leading your team to their first victory. What's going through your mind as you flip the script, inspire your squad, and spark hope for the future?
And Lexie Hull goes 8 for 11 from the field and has 19 points, 3 assists, and 3 boards. 19, 3, and 3. She was the top scorer.
Just a comeback story. It's a masterclass in perseverance, strategy, and the sweet taste of vindication. Lexie Hull didn't just step up. She proved that talent and teamwork triumph over stat chasing. Her performance wasn't just a win for the team. It was a statement. So, how did she shift the spotlight from Angel Reese and unlock the full potential of the Rose Basketball Club? How did she transform a fleeting opportunity into a movement? Let's break it down. Are you ready?
Hull's really stepping up because she barely played those first 2 games. And I do think with her barely playing those first 2 games, I don't think she did anything wrong. Like, I even said at the time where I'm like, it's literally just the style of play their coach is trying to play. It didn't suit Lexie.
I remember when Lexie Hull was practically invisible on the court for the Rose Basketball Club. Yeah, that really happened. Let's rewind to those first 2 games. 2 forgettable matchups where Hull spent most of her time glued to the bench. She logged just 8 minutes of playing time. 8 minutes across 2 full games. Meanwhile, her team struggled, opening the season with 0 wins and 2 losses. Frustration mounted as Hull watched from the sidelines, knowing she had what it took to make a difference, but never getting the chance.
Imagine going from Christy's side's coaching, where she doesn't really want to play you, and no matter what you do on the court, it doesn't matter because your coach doesn't want to play you, and then eventually your coach figures it out and starts you and plays you 30 minutes a game and your team gets better.
Here's the thing. Lexie Hull isn't just another player trying to find her groove. She's a proven sharpshooter with defensive skills to match. In the previous Wnba season, her 3-point shooting percentage ranked among the league's elite. She's got the stats, the skills, and the game to back it all up. And yet, she was benched, left to ride the pine while her team struggled. The question is, why would you sideline a player with that kind of talent?
Lexie Hull hardly played. And it was all within like the flow of whatever offense you run in Unrivaled. And also, she's obviously a really freaking good defense.
So, what's the deal? Why was a player of Hull's caliber barely seeing the court? Something wasn't adding up, and fans were starting to take notice. Questions swirled. Why wasn't Hull's defensive grit being utilized when the team desperately needed a spark? Here's where it gets interesting. While Hull was stuck on the bench, her teammates were putting up double-digit scores, but it wasn't translating into wins. The offense felt disjointed, and the defense? Let's just say it had more holes than Swiss cheese. Clearly, the team was missing something or someone to pull it all together.
We've seen from Alyssa Thomas, like, the points that are like the point guards that are doing really well, or the point forward type things that are doing well in this, aren't really pick and roll players. It's the ones that are sharing the rock and hitting cutters, hitting like 3-point players. Like, it's not about the pick and roll. It's not as important in 3-on-3, especially when you can push the floor and you can run, and athleticism is the most important.
Here's the reality. Even with her limited minutes, Lexie Hull was making waves. Fans and commentators couldn't ignore her lockdown defense. It was a masterclass in maximizing every second on the floor. In those precious few moments, she turned heads, delivering highlight-worthy plays in rapid succession. Blink, and you'd miss her impact. The frustration was undeniable. Teammates murmured, fans flooded social media with calls for change. Yet, through it all, Hull remained the consummate professional, ever the team player. But one thing was crystal clear. Everyone knew she deserved more time on the court.
I think Lexie Hull is going to have I think she's going to have a solid Unrivaled, and thankfully, she's stepping up. And I didn't think she did anything wrong in her first 2 games when she was on the floor. The coach just didn't fit her. She didn't fit the coach's system. Thankfully, the Rose switched it up a bit. They won.
So how did Lexie Hull go from benchwarmer to game changer overnight? That's the million-dollar question. Was it a shift in strategy? Did the coach finally recognize her potential? Or maybe Hull struck some kind of deal with the basketball gods? We'll break it all down in just a bit. But before diving into her meteoric rise, let's address the real mystery. Why was she benched in the first place?
Back to mid-season form. She really is. She's absolutely delivering on that double-double. That's right. Points, rebounds, and of course, losses. Just in the same way that the Chicago sky melted last year when her double-double streak started, she cost her team again.
Remember when we couldn't figure out why Lexie Hull was stuck on the bench? Turns out, she might just be the secret weapon the Rose Basketball Club needed all along. Let's break down why Hull's skill set is practically tailor-made for the fast-paced world of 3-on-3 basketball. First things first, 3-on-3 is a completely different beast compared to traditional 5-on-5. With fewer players on the court, there's more space to operate. But it's not just about having room to breathe. It's about creating opportunities. The pace is faster, the action more intense, and every player has to be a two-way threat. Offense and defense aren't just roles, they're necessities. And this is exactly where Hull shines.
They're saying, oh, she should have never went to Unrivaled. I still think, look, she's getting paid, 100 and something K, at least. Could be paid up to $250,000. She's everywhere. It's going to help her out. She drew the short straw with her team. The way the coach wants them to play is just not the way Lexie Hull is good.
Now, let's talk about Lexie Hull. You know she's a sharpshooter, right? In 3-on-3 basketball, that's like bringing a flamethrower to a water balloon fight. With all that extra space on the court, players who can consistently knock down threes and slash to the basket become defensive nightmares. And Hull? She's not just good. She's elite, ranking among the Wnba's best from beyond the arc. But here's the kicker. Hull's game isn't just about offense. In 3-on-3, your defensive skills are put under a microscope. There's nowhere to hide when it's just you and your opponent. This is where Hull truly shines. Her lockdown defense is the stuff of nightmares for the opposition. In a format where one-on-one matchups can define the outcome, Hull's defensive brilliance is like having a secret weapon.
Not only that, she's been good. The problem isn't that Lexie Hull has been garbage. Lexie Hull has played well. That's the weirdest thing, is that she's actually played well. There is one issue with Lexie Hull, which is why I think she's not playing, but I think she has actually played well. And their team lost again.
You want to know what's even crazier? This isn't Lexie Hull's first rodeo with 3-on-3 basketball. She's been there, done that, and has the medals to prove it. Hull has represented Team USA in international 3-on-3 competitions, bringing home serious hardware. That kind of experience? Priceless. She knows the ins and outs of the format, and it shows in her play. Still not convinced? Look around the league. Players like and Kate Martin are tearing it up for the LA Basketball Club. What do they have in common with Hull? They're deadly from long range, game after game. These players prove that in 3-on-3 basketball, a strong three-point shooter is worth their weight in gold. Take Kate Martin's performance this weekend, for example. A double-double off the bench, limited minutes, and pure hustle. So, why is Lexie Hull's style a perfect fit for 3-on-3 basketball? Simple, she's the complete package. Her sharpshooting keeps defenses honest, spreading the floor and creating opportunities for her teammates. Her lockdown defense shuts down the opposition's best player. And her experience in the format means she knows how to maximize her skills in this high-paced style of play. Now, let's talk about her latest game. Gone were the slow, plodding pick-and-roll plays. In their place, a high-octane strategy built on fast movement and sharp cuts. It was In just 10 minutes, she scored 19 points. Yes, you read that right, 19 points in 10 minutes, with 14 of them coming from attacking the basket. This wasn't the Lexie Hull we thought we knew. This was Hull 2.0, driving with ferocity, leaving defenders in her wake, finishing with hustle plays, and even mixing in some magic from beyond the arc. She wasn't just scoring, she was elevating the team. To put her performance in perspective, despite her limited minutes, Hull had the highest point total on the team. Meanwhile, angelreese, the supposed star of the show, had a rough outing. 4 points in 8 minutes, 3 turnovers, and 4 fouls. She spent most of the game watching from the bench. It was a complete role reversal that raised serious questions about Reese's place on the floor. Reese's slow, pick-and-roll heavy style wasn't working in the fast-paced world of 3-on-3. It's like trying to play checkers in a game of speed chess. Her missed layups and inability to finish at the rim were glaring issues. Fans even started calling her a liability. With Reese struggling, the Rose Basketball Club was stuck in a rut, one made worse by her individual stat padding. So, why was Lexie Hull benched during those first 2 games? Simple. Coach Nola Henry was too focused on making Reese work, hoping her individual stats would magically translate into team success. But as the saying goes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. After Reese's poor performance, Henry finally made the change. Hull stepped up, and the Rose Basketball Club secured their first win. What does this mean moving forward? For starters, it raises serious questions about Hull's previous lack of playing time. If she can put up these kinds of numbers in just 10 minutes, imagine what she could do with more time on the court. It's clear Hull isn't just a role player, she's a potential game changer. So, will Coach Henry keep riding the Hull Express, or will she return to the old playbook? With stars like Caitlinclark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aya Wilson rising, Hull's versatility could be the secret ingredient the Rose Basketball Club needs in 2025. The question is, will they play their cards right? The potential is there. Now it's time to turn it into results. What do you think? Will Coach Henry make the right call? Or